Okay, so for the next part 2 of this robot demo, this is the tutorial from Spoon Graphics, and we're continuing and we're adding gradients that we make ourselves, and we're also adding reflections. So it's a nice idea to start with little swatches of your colors that you're going to use, and so you can pre-make them. And then you can put them in your swatch panel and you can drag them into your gradients as you make them. So as you grab each swatch, then just, you could grab it from here to drag it into swatches, or you can also just separate color out, and you can do it this way. So you can pull, drag, drop. And it's nice to do that because then with your gradient you can just drag them directly into the gradient. So it's a fast way to work. So with the little top knot here, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a red to lighter red radial gradient. So I'm going to open my gradient panel. I'm going to select that piece, and then I'm going to just throw in an existing color radial gradient. I'll use purple radial. I'm not going to use the super soft black vignette one because that has transparency, so I'd have to raise up the opacity, so that's just a little more work. It's easier to start with this one. And then I'm just going to drag the colors that I want in. So I want my light red to be where the white is, and I want my darker red to be where the purple was. And now I have that gradient, and I can adjust how that flows, how much is light, how much is dark. If I need to alter the color, I can double click and I can alter it either through here, maybe changing the black ratio, or through swatches. So either way. Once you like the gradient, you can drag it and you can save it, drag and drop. So, that's making your own gradient. Making the colors you want first sometimes makes it a whole lot easier. Remember, you also have the gradient library that has lots of options too, and there's some cool metals in there that can give roundness to the arms of this if you want to do that. So that might be something that you want to check out. Let me actually show that. So if I throw that on, this is grouped, let me ungroup. If I throw this on this bar, maybe this one, see how it gives me a really nice pipe-like look because of those nice highlights. Somebody's gone through and already they've created gradients that look like metal. So you can use those too. You can be experimental with this. It's fine with me. Alright, so I would continue with this, making my gradients, grabbing the shape, and here I want a linear gradient, so I'll choose a existing linear. Here's the default one. I'm just going to pull off all the boxes but 2, and then I'll pull the colors I want in there. And I'll adjust them, and whatever direction you want it to go. His goes from darker to the top to lighter. So you could do, 90-degree in here, or you can use your gradient tool to adjust that and rotate. And then you can always move that and kind of get the look you want. You can adjust the colors too, double-clicking and going in and adjusting. And then remember, once you like the gradient, you can copy and save that gradient quite easily. So you'll continue through making gradients in all the parts that you want, to have gradients. Okay, so after you put your gradients in, if you want to do reflections, those are done using Pathfinder again. Also, we're going to put a gradient in the eyes, and then we're also going to put a little highlight. So let's kind of check out what those are going to look like. You can see a little bit of the eyes there. So the reflections end up looking like this, and I'll show you how to make that. The eyes have that nice orange to yellow gradient, and then little circles with no stroke and a white fill to kind of give a nice highlight. here you can see quite a few of those reflections that give some nice dimension, nice little details to this robot. Alright, so we're going to use Pathfinder, and we're going to basically copy the shape first that you want to put a reflection on. So Command C, Command V, and then make a new shape that you're going to use to define that reflection, the oval tool in this case, and then I can position it where I want it to be. Oops. Grab them both, and I can align them, get them nice and straight. Now with Pathfinder, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use minus front because I want to use the oval to cut out this shape. So there it is, my little piece. Now my piece, I don't want a stroke, so move stroke to the top and choose none. And I'll keep the white and I'll position it right on top of that ball. And then I'm going to drop the opacity of the white to 20%. Or, you know, thereabouts, doesn't really matter if it's exact or not. And there I've got my first reflection. And, you know, I would say zoom in and really do your best to get it to really, really fit. So I might make it a little smaller. This had a stroke on it, so it was just a little bit bigger. So there, you know, and you won't really see that it's perfect until you're zoomed in. So really make that effort to get as close as you can, and you can adjust the size too if you need to, until you get it so that you like it. Command 0 back to showing full screen. I have my first reflection. For the eyes, it's a linear gradient, so I'm going to go ahead and ungroup the eye, and then I'm going to make my linear gradient. I actually already have it made, but I'll just kind of show you making it. So I'm grabbing an existing gradient, I'm opening the gradient editor, I'm dragging the colors that I want in there, I'm adjusting the direction of the gradient, and controlling where it blends. And remember, you can drag this little guy around to control that. You can also adjust the slider bar here as well as in there. So these two are connected. Whatever you do to one, it's going to happen in the other. So, and then once you like it, then a little tiny circle, which is going to have no fill or no stroke and a white fill. And then you can just draw that in, hold shift so you get a nice round circle. And you know, you could repeat the process with this eye, or you could also delete this little center and then just copy drag the eye in there to have that eye. So you're basically just going to go through and continue until you have your whole robot all finished. You're going to make a shadow too, so let me show you that shadow. So that shadow is going to go under the robot, and it is basically a light gray to transparent radial gradient. So I'm going to go ahead and make an oval, big oval, and I'm going to put that in. I'm going to choose the purple again, and I'm going to go ahead and reverse it so the white's on the outside. I'm going to adjust the purple to a gray, and you can kind of choose how dark you want that. And then I'm going to go to the white, and I'm going to make this transparent. Now if it's on a white background, you could get away with leaving it white. But, you know, to make it transparent, you're just going to drop the opacity down. Next, I'm going to control how that gradient lays within the circle using the gradient tool. And I'm going to make the gradient flow out to the edge of that oval, and then I'm going to also make it the shape of the oval, like so. And that's going to really control it. And then I'm going to want to send it behind. So Object, Arrange, Send it back. Actually, because I have 2 layers with the way that I did this, I'm actually going to drag it behind manually. So I'll put it on this bottom layer, I'll unlock, and I'll just click the blue circle. It's already selected, so I can do it this way, drag and drop. Then I'm going to send it to the back. So sending it to the back, the shortcut is to go ahead and use Command Shift and the left bracket. You can also go Object, Arrange, Send back. So now it's to the back, which is where I want it to be. And that's it. Just fill up, you know, your your robot with colors and gradients and reflections. Make your shadow, and you're done. Remember, save it. Last name, first name, robot.